Now we are going to estimate our cost of equity using the dividend growth model. So there's a few pieces of information that we need that we've already learned how to generate and download. In order to calculate the cost of equity for a stock using the dividend growth model, we need, so what we're looking for is our R sub E. Now what we need is the few things we need. First, we need to know what the next dividend is going to be, so the D1. The other thing we need is our price today, so P0. And then the other is we add back in our growth rate. Oops, we want to add our G. So we've already learned how to generate all of these pieces of information or download them. And so the first thing we need to do is go back to our how to estimate the growth rate of a dividend. So in our previous lesson, we learned how to estimate the growth rate of a dividend for Microsoft, and in this case, we estimated the growth rate to be 10.48%. What was our last dividend? So we know our D0, that was our dividend that's just being paid. So our D0 right now is 46 cents, but that is a quarterly dividend. So the yearly dividend of Microsoft right now is 46 cents times 4. So you take 4, and this is going to be our yearly dividend. So we have our quarterly dividend times 4. So our D sub 0, that is our last dividend for Microsoft of the last year, is $1.84. Now we need to estimate what is our next dividend going to be. So we need to estimate the growth rate. So we estimated the growth rate to be 10.48%. So our G is going to be this number. Now we take our dividend times 1 plus our growth rate. So let's take a look at that. So we have a dividend of our past dividend of the last year, our D sub 0, is $1.84. We expect it, we've estimated the growth rate for Microsoft to be 10.48%. So what we have to do is simply estimate what is our next dividend going to be. And we do that by, we have our equal sign, we take our current dividend, D sub 0, and we use our parentheses times 1 plus our growth rate. And let's see why that didn't, D, we forgot to add the multiplication. So that's one thing, Excel can be a little tricky, so we have to add our multiplication in front of the parentheses. It doesn't interpret parentheses as multiplication, so we have to add that. So we end up with, this is our next dividend. So let's make it a little bit, we just need to go out to 2 decimal places, and it's actually $1, so we can add our dollar sign to both of these to make it a little bit clearer. So this is our D1. This is going to be our estimated dividend in the next period. So we need that. So we have our D1 is $2.03. So we're starting to fill in the information we need to answer our question. So we can actually equals, let's go back to this cell. So that's our next dividend. Now what else do we need? We need the last price. So our last price, we can just use this 141.03. So that is our last price. And then again, we can use our growth rate. Oops. Our growth rate is on this, back on this page again. So our growth rate, we can go back to this cell reference. We can equal and go back to our estimate for our dividend growth rate was 10.48. And we have that. And now all we have to do is follow our formula to get our cost of equity using the dividend growth model. And it is our next dividend, which is D1, divided by our price today, that added to our growth rate, and we get a cost of equity for Microsoft using a 5-year estimate of their dividend growth rate of 11.92%. So that is the cost of equity using the dividend growth model.